Angelo.
Yo, Kevin, what's up?
Oh my God, I just come back from Disney, and you're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this.
What?
Okay, so I'm there in the gift shop, chilling around, and they got It All Started with a Mouse.
Right.
Like, what?
What do you mean?
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, oh my God, Angelo, they're lying to people.
do you
They're just
mean?
blatantly lying to people.
How?
The trains, Angelo. The trains.
Oh my God. The trains.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Of Mouse and Men. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Angelo.
And today we're about to get trainified. Is that a word?
Nope, not
This
a
is
word.
Definitely not a word. I think I just made up
Not
a word.
So welcome to our inaugural episode.
Yeah, this is our first episode. Yeah. It sounds a little weird being on the vocal waves.
Kevin, you gotta stop with this word choice. It's a little questionable, to be honest.
I know, people already stopped listening. They're like, what is this guy saying?
Yeah. So, Kevin, what kind of podcast are we?
We are a Disney/theme park podcast. So we're going to talk about things from Disney mainly, but we also are going to touch on other theme parks and stuff like that.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah, and sounds good. So you know what I wanted to start with today, Angelo?
I do, but go ahead.
No, but someone asked me a question yesterday, and they were like, if Walt Disney was alive today, how would he feel about the current state of the theme parks?
Okay.
And I thought that was such an interesting question because I think it's a tricky answer.
Yeah.
Like,
it is.
how would he feel?
There's a lot of quotes they throw around on like how he would feel about things.
Mm-hmm.
But what was your conclusion, or did?
I mean, obviously he's not a fan of Epcot. The experimental prototype community of tomorrow is not an experimental prototype community of tomorrow.
No, it's a theme park.
So, I mean, he'd be upset with that. But I think overall, they've done some cool stuff with Imagineering, and I think he'd be satisfied with it. How about you?
Yeah, I think he would. I think that I think he'd be a little questionable about some of the things they've done, like getting rid of classic stuff, obviously.
Oh, I think definitely.
But at the same time, I think he'd think we're going in a good direction.
Yeah, and I think they are going in a good direction because it all started with a train, Angela.
It did.
And I think he'd be happy that we still got trains going down.
No, yeah. So
Yeah.
Walt Disney's beginnings are kind of based in trains.
They are based in trains. I mean,
Heavily based in trains, not kind of.
I mean, his obsession with trains is crazy. Because when you think Walt Disney, you do not think trains. No one thinks trains, right?
Yeah, not at first, but once you like dig in his history, there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of trains. Like his first job, he like worked and sold cigarettes and stuff on trains. Like
He was a little cart boy pushing
Yeah.
it around, selling things.
yeah, he was like what are they called on the planes? The
Flight attendant?
The flight
He was a train attendant?
yeah, he was a train attendant.
Yeah, like in
They're
Harry
like, give me my
Potter.
peanuts, cigarettes, and he's like, okay, here you go.
Yeah. That was his one of his first jobs, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah. I mean, he probably had a few. He was a newspaper salesman for his father, right?
Yeah, that was one of them.
That was a little. He had a rough relationship with his father.
Yeah, that's very loaded. But,
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that stuff. But yeah,
on trains,
yeah.
Walt, as he went on with his life,
Mm-hmm.
at some point he was like he was doing his animation stuff, his whole animation thing, right?
Yeah. That little thing he was doing.
Like the little startup, and he needed a hobby, Kevin.
Of course, everyone needs a hobby.
What did he turn to?
I mean, trains.
Trains.
Obviously. And I think it's weird because when you like talk to people when like people talk about Walt Disney's love of trains, they describe it as a hobby, and it's like, really? Was it a hobby?
Yeah, it was a bit more than a hobby.
I mean, if my hobby is like reading books, I'm not gonna have like the Boston Library in my house. Like that's
No.
crazy.
You might have like a miniature setup, but no, Walt Disney had to go farther.
He went farther, right? He had the Lily Bell, which was he built like this miniature train.
Yeah, so Walt Disney in his backyard
Yeah.
builds not a miniature railroad, but like a miniature railroad.
Yeah.
Like-
it was like a legit railroad, just slightly smaller than like
It was
scale.
it was a small it was a backyard railroad.
Yes.
It was like a little train, and people could sit on the cars.
Yeah, he like sat on the engine.
He
was
drove
like,
it.
Yeah.
Or what's it called? Engineer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're called, I think. And you're fitting the
Engineers.
train.
I mean, I guess, right?
I don't actually remember. I think when you're driving a train,
Conductor. That sounds. I don't know.
He was the guy driving the train.
Yeah, we didn't watch Thomas and Friends as kids. So
I mean, I did, but I forget. But he drove the train.
Yeah, he drove them.
And he'd show people when they came over. He'd be like, "Hey, look at my trains in my backyard."
And I know his wife was like really upset about the trains because like
she's
like, "What the hell? You're building a train in the backyard?"
Right?
I mean, could you imagine like your husband comes home one day and he's like, "I got a train and like we're gonna build a miniature train set in the backyard for people to come over and hang out." Like, that's crazy.
So to counteract some of his wife's upsetness, he named one of the trains after her.
Yeah, the Lily Bell.
The Lily Bell.
I mean, that was cute. But like, I'd still be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I don't think it helped.
Like, if I bring a llama home, my wife's not gonna be like, "Oh, that's great," and I'm like, "Oh, I named it after you."
And she's gonna be like, "Oh, then it's okay."
Yeah,
that's all right then.
As long as it's named after me, we're good. But yeah, but he had friends when he was animating, like Ward Kimple and Ollie Johnson were his friends that had trains, which was, I mean, you're gonna relate over something. You gotta relate over trains, I guess.
Yeah. He found a bunch of other train enthusiados.
And Ward had like an actual railroad, like he had like this large railroad at his house, like. Other than Walt had his like small railroad, but Ward like actually had a railroad at his house. Like that's also kind of nuts that it went there. But so if you're asking like, what the heck are these people talking about trains for? Like, what does that have to do with Disneyland or anything like that?
It's got a lot to do.
Well, how did Disneyland start, Angelo?
So when Walt was buying one of his locomotives, he bought it from London.
Yeah.
And so he went there and bought it. And this other guy named Harper Goff, he went from America sailing to London to buy this train to try and before Walt did.
Yeah, he went on a boat, which was a risky decision.
I mean, that's all they had. No. Yeah, no, that's all they had, really. In terms of good transportation. So he sailed and he missed it by 6 hours. And so he met up with Walt. And because Walt already bought the train, he was there first.
Yeah.
And they get talking on their love of railroads and everything. And eventually Walt talks to him about his idea for a theme park. Mm-hmm. Not amusement park, but theme park.
A theme park.
Where families can have fun together. Kevin.
What a revolutionary idea.
Right? And that's Walter Goff.
Goff? Yeah.
Yeah. Went on to be one of the first Imagineers. And he actually contributed to Main Street USA.
Yeah.
Some ideas and stuff like that. And also to the Jungle Cruise.
Gotta love that Jungle Cruise.
Best ride ever. But it's funny how through that he met this guy who went on to be an Imagineer. And then, of course, Kevin, what's the first thing you see when you go to Disneyland?
The train.
The train.
The train is right there. I mean, he built Disneyland because of the train. I mean, he was like, I need a place to put a large train. And
pretty much.
We'll just make a park and put my train there, and then I'll have everyone ride my train, just like my backyard.
Right. Of course, there were actual reasons, but the funny thing is, he built it just for the train.
Just for the train. He was like, because of all the things, people were like, he's most proud of his trains. And
he was very proud of his trains.
But I think that he'd love that they still have his trains going. I mean, not his trains, but they still got trains going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of sweet. I mean, the trains exist in the parks now too. And you have the monorail. If he saw the monorail, he'd be doing flips. He'd be doing backflips.
He'd freak out.
He'd be like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life."
If you saw in Germany, the Germany pavilion, the miniature train railroad thing, that is almost never running anymore.
Yeah.
Whenever you go there, the trains aren't going. They're just stopped, and it's a little disappointing.
Yeah, and it's a little cute little train set they got going on.
Yeah, Epcot in Germany on the side, they got the trains.
And it's pretty cute. I'm like, aw, because Walt would like that.
Yeah, Walt would be a big fan.
Yeah, because you have both the Disneyland Railroad, the Magic Kingdom Railroad. You, of course, have the monorails, and then you have this little Germany cute little miniature set.
Yeah, and then we're getting another train-related
ride yeah, soon, we are. Yeah. Nice connection there, Angelo.
They had to replace the best ride.
The Great Movie Ride.
And Hollywood Studios got rid of the Great Movie Ride. It's going to be Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting to see.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I mean, it's interesting that they got rid of the Great Movie Ride. I mean, because they don't really want licensed things anymore. But, like, Mickey and Minnie in the Chinese theater is kind of weird.
Right.
Like, it makes sense in Disneyland because they're going to put them in Toontown. But, like, the Chinese theater, like, that's odd.
It is. It's an odd choice. But
that is an interesting choice to put them on the Runaway Railway as a train.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, Walt, you old dead...
you guy.
Our man. But yeah, it's crazy, the fact that we got Walt on trains.
And yeah, there's a lot... The trains really do relate to a lot of his history. You know what he thought of on the train, too.
You know what he thought of on the train?
You know what he thought of on the train.
You know? Yep. So if you don't know, on a little train ride after he lost our friend Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which was his first animated cartoon character.
Yeah, due to copyright issues, he lost the rights.
To Universal. Gosh darn it. But on that train ride, he was very depressed, and he came up with a little guy named Mortimer Mouse.
Who's that, Kevin?
Well, he's only the greatest guy ever, Mickey Mouse, because his wife was like, Mortimer. That's crazy.
That's a bad name.
He's like, you need to change that to Mickey. And he's like, oh, okay, Mickey Mouse. And that he came up with Mickey on what, Angelo?
A train.
This man and his trains.
It all connects.
It all comes together. And now Mickey and Minnie are on the Runaway Railway, which is a train, which is where they were thought of in the first place.
We really do go full circle.
This was the fullest circle I've ever seen in my life. I don't think you can do a fuller circle than what we just did.
No, yeah, it's a complete 360.
Our minds blown? I think people's minds are blown.
I think so. I would say so.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's talk about how we met.
How we met? It was like 2 weeks ago, dude.
Yeah, we met not 2 weeks ago, but a few months ago.
Yeah, a few months ago.
So, the Mouse and Men podcast.
It began as an idea.
As
all things do.
So many things begin as ideas. Disneyland was an idea, and then it became a reality.
Oh, yeah, really, everything starts as an idea.
Mm-hmm. But we just made our idea happen.
We did.
So Angelo and I met a few months ago, actually, now. And I remember he said to me, he was like, hey, you like Disney, right? Or you like the theme parks and stuff?
Yeah,
and I was
you do wear Disney shirts almost every day.
Maybe not every day, Angelo, but pretty often.
Almost every day.
Pretty often
You got a lot. I admire it.
Thank you. But, and he's like, we should talk about that sometime. And I was like, yeah, we should. And then one night, you were in my room, not in a weird way, but you were in my room.
We were hanging out.
And I think it just came up. I remember we just started talking about theme parks.
We did.
And it was like midnight when we started talking.
Right.
And we ended up going to bed at like 7 a.m.
Yeah, because we just talked about theme parks
We talked about theme parks forever. And then we were like, you know what? We need an excuse to be talking about theme parks because we've been talking forever.
Yeah, we were like, we got to put this energy somewhere.
And yeah, and people should hear what we have to say because we're very intelligent people.
Because we're really important.
We have a lot of great things to say, and people need to hear it.
No, I think we have some good ideas. We like to talk about it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. And, our friend Seamus was like, people need to hear this.
Yeah, he said that he doesn't have any interest in Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, you guys sound like you actually know what you're talking about.
I mean, for all he knows, we have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, for all he knows, we're talking about nonsense.
But he was just like, okay, and then we were born. We started developing this show. It went through a few name changes, but we finally landed.
Yeah, that was a tough spot.
That was the toughest thing. We had the show planned out, but it was the name that we were really having trouble with. And then
I'd like to think we got there in the end, though.
Yeah, of Mouse and Men.
Unless we change it like 6 months from now, and we're like, oh man, people are really messed up.
But yeah, Of Mouse and Men, I think is a good title. We came to it on our own.
Yep, nice literary reference in it.
Good. Yeah. John Steinbeck is a great man.
Good guy.
Maybe one day we'll get Lenny'd on this show. Who knows?
Jesus.
If you don't get that reference, you should read Of Mice and Men. It's a good read.
Or just listen to Of Mouse and Men. Same difference.
Yeah, I think we're just of high quality. Why don't they teach us in literary classes?
Because we don't have an episode yet.
Oh, you're right. This is the first one. This will be played at Harvard University. Educate the youths.
It will be. That's that important.
It is that important. I think we're the most important people that ever been born.
I think we should wait a little bit until we make that claim, but yeah, I agree pretty much.
Oh, you think there's higher people?
No, I just think we need to make sure before we say that.
You're right. We're no Bobby Iges.
But we are pretty much. No, we're not Bobby Iges. Bobby Iges is the best boy.
He's a legend.
What a legend.
An actual legend.
What a novel he wrote.
Oh my gosh, his book. Fantastic. I'm reading it. We'll talk about it another time. It is a transcendent experience.
Is it now?
It is. It is one of the greatest books I've ever read, and I'm only on chapter 1.
Huh.
Yeah. We got through the prologue. Freaking...
You're only on chapter 1.
The prologue, I had to stop reading 80 times because this man is a legend. And I had to run around the building and tell everybody what a legend he was. And then go back to reading. So it's going to take a bit to get through because I have to stop every time he's a legend.
Right. As you do.
Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for listening to our podcast today. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope you had an amazing time. Angelo, anything left you want to add on to the people before we go?
Just join us weekly.
Join us weekly. Podcast. We got new episodes. And then we have special episodes that come out periodically.
Yeah, when events happen. Mm-hmm. Disney Plus is coming out.
Yeah, so our upcoming special, we're going to have Disney Plus, and we're going to discuss everything that there is to talk about Disney Plus that we can possibly fit into it, because it is a large streaming service.
So we'll have relevant topics. We'll have some fun topics. We have a lot planned. We have a lot of exciting things going on.
And if you just like listening to our soothing voices, check us out, because I think we're good to meditate to.
Probably.
Probably. Have you not tried it?
There's no way to back that up, but I'm just going to go with yes.
I'll test it out and let you know how it feels.
All right, let me know.
I feel like it'll just put me into another dimension. I mean, I don't know how meditation works, but I feel
I'm pretty sure that's how it is.
Like you float up, right?
No, yeah. What else could it be?
I don't know. People seem to like it, though.
All right, guys. Well, until next time.
So long, everybody.